when you need us.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning, and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Students in Clinton are less than a week from returning to class, and local authorities are gearing up for a busy start to the new school year. On the WHOW Morning Show Tuesday, Clinton Police Department School Resource Officer Coby Bryant told the Heart Media Group the usual traffic patterns are in place at Clinton Elementary School, but changes at Clinton's Lincoln and Douglas schools are going to present new challenges for parents and law enforcement.
Well, one of the big ones we always discuss every year is Illini Drive. If you're dropping off at CES, what the school is requesting is you come from the south down by Kleeman, come heading north, and you turn in that way. And then if you're going to the junior high for drop-off, what they're requesting is you're coming from 54 and heading south. That kind of helps that traffic jam that kind of happens there. They're requesting it. We have parents that don't do it every year. It is a big irritation to the parents who are following the rules and when someone cuts in line when they've been waiting. But to add on top of that this year, we had the combination of Lincoln and Douglas School for kindergarten and first grade, which means we're going to have more traffic for pickup drop-off on Jackson Street at Lincoln School. So what the admin at that building is asking is that when you get on Jackson Street, they're asking you go 2 blocks north up to Jefferson, or up to Adams, and then head south. That way that line can start to develop. And we can kind of see this is kind of a trial and error process. We're going to see how it goes for a few weeks and see if we need to adjust it. But for right now, if we can have parents go up to Adams Street and then head back down south and start to create that line that way, and we'll see how things kind of shake out that way.
According to Mayor, there are stiff penalties for motorists who disobey the traffic signals on a school bus.
Yeah, Douglas will be just preschool this year. The main concern with Douglas every year, that's the highest amount of reports I get of people running school bus stop signs. Almost every single one I get comes from Douglas. It's Main Street right there in front of the school. Some people tell me they didn't think both lanes of traffic have to stop. Both lanes have to stop when that stop sign comes out. Also, people get in a rush and think, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Well, it is. A lot of people don't know that the state law for running that stop sign, if you're convicted, you get your driver's license suspended automatically. That's not even something the judge makes a decision on. It's the state statute for that. If you get convicted for running that stop sign on a school bus, your license is going to be taken away.
Clinton Police Chief Ben Lowers indicates school leaders and law enforcement have many years of experience in coming up with these recommendations for parents.
The first few days is just kind of everybody gets into their routine, and we'll make adjustments from day to day on what time they need to leave. Just figured out, as he said, the school puts out recommendations for those traffic flows, like on Illini Drive, that approaching from the south to Clinton Elementary School, approaching from the north to the junior high, approaching from the north to the new schedule, I guess, at Lincoln School. Those aren't the law, but if everyone would follow that advice and just be patient, they put a lot of thought, and quite frankly, in the topic of Illini Drive in Clinton Elementary, many years of experience now. And I think that we've decided that this is about the best that we've come up with, or that they've come up with, for traffic flow. So if everybody would heed that advice and work together, it makes it a lot smoother for everybody else. Just be more patient, be more aware and cognizant of the pedestrian traffic, the bicycle traffic, not only around the schools, but in our residential neighborhoods, as he mentioned.
Students in Clinton go back to class on Monday, August 17th. A local faith-based nonprofit is finishing up its summer intern program. Mandy Reese with the Neighborhood Care Center explains that they brought on Zach Potts as their summer intern because of his interest in ministry and his passion for mission work. The idea was to give him hands-on experience in the day-to-day of making an impact on people's lives.
We invited Zach in because we knew he was interested in learning more about what it looked like to live on mission.
Mm-hmm.
And so we thought, why not invite him in to see what Neighborhood Care Center is all about and kind of let him get a behind the scenes look at how a nonprofit organization works week to week.
Okay.
And so that's really what we've done, is just kind of invited him into spaces. He's had some hands-on experience, but he's also been a part of a lot of meetings and things that maybe people normally wouldn't get to do, just to kind of see what it looks like.
Potts describes his experience with NCC as eye-opening to the everyday struggles of people in Clinton and Central Illinois. While some may see the organization as just a food bank, he says it is so much more.
It's been amazing. It's been very eye-opening to see like the community in, I guess, its real way. Like I had no idea like homeless people lived in Clinton, but just through various discussions I've had with Cody and the neighbors from Neighborhood Care Center, it's just really eye-opening to see what people's lives are actually like and what their experiences are, I guess. Through Dalton Weaver, the youth pastor at FCC in Clinton, he knows Cody pretty well, and he thought this would be a good opportunity for me this summer. I just thought they were pretty much a food bank that was faith-based, but I had no idea that it was this much and that they were still expanding into Vermilion County and McLean County even. Yeah, I would say, kind of go back to what I said earlier, eye-opening. They provide economic support with people, and it's in a closed room, and people tend to open up very much in there. So I would say that just seeing people's experiences and them telling you stories, it's just very moving, I guess.
Potts hopes to use this experience to further pursue his interest in ministry. He wants to pair that with his passion for flying by becoming a pilot and possibly flying missionaries around the world. Before attending school, he plans to take a 6-month-long mission trip as well.
So going into it, me and Dalton Weaver, the youth pastor at FCC, we just talked about like what ministry might look like in the future for my life. And I think this is a great opportunity to see what it might look like in the future. So this is just like opening new doors in my life. So I'm going to be a pilot, and there's a lot of ministry ways you can be a pilot and like have that involved in your life still. So I'm not sure exactly what that might look like. So I don't know yet. So you could fly missionaries into like parts of the world that like you can't just drive to. So like villages in the middle of Africa or like South America or something like that. You could have that, or there's many other different things you could do as well. So it's a 6-month mission trip it's called Youth of the Mission is the organization. And I leave in September and I'll get back in March. And the first 3 months, I'm just learning about the gospel with 30 other people from all around the world. I don't know any of them. And then for the second 3 months is where I travel somewhere else and talk to people about God and share my faith and just help others to know God.
The generosity of people is something that has stuck out to Potts through this experience. He indicates that it is that generosity that allows NCC to function daily and serve the community. Reese says it is about always ministering however you can.
I would say one of the biggest things is how generous people are. I mean, Neighborhood Care Center wouldn't be able to be a thing if people weren't generous. So it's really just crazy how, and I've been fundraising for my trip this summer too, and that's just really made it clear how generous people are. And I think that's one of my biggest takeaways of the summer.
Yeah. And that's kind of what we hit home all the time with a lot of our mission partners, is Neighborhood Care Center provides a space for them to come in and understand better how they've been wired, how they've been created, and what can I do because of who I am, and to really go out and step out in obedience and bravery and courage and do some of those things to really make a difference in your community and where you live.
One thing you just said is how ministry work is not just talking to people about Jesus. It's also things like behind the scenes, like for Neighborhood Care Center to be like stocking the shelves or something like that. It's not just talking to people about Jesus ministry work. It's also so many different things. It doesn't just have to be talking to random people, approaching random people at the grocery store or whatever about talking to Jesus.
Learn more about the Neighborhood Care Center in Clinton, McLean County, and soon Danville, its efforts, and how you can help by visiting neighborhoodcarecenter.net or by finding them on Facebook. Get news anytime from your computer or your mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
From pickups to family vehicles, trust the experts at Walker Tire in Clinton, featuring quality Yokohama tires for dependable performance. We're here to help you find the right tire for every vehicle and every budget. Learn more by clicking our icon on DeWittDailyNews.com.
Longview Community Bank is now open in Clinton, investing in rural Illinois. I'm Vice President Nate Sams. Stop by for a visit or to find out how we provide real local banking. Click our banner ad at the top of the local news page on DeWittDailyNews.com.
It's never too early to start thinking about back-to-school preparations. Part of getting your kids ready for the new school year means making sure they're healthy. SIU Center for Family Medicine is here to help with back-to-school and sports physicals. Healthy kids learn better and play harder. Call 217-735-2317 today to schedule your appointment. That's 217-735-2317. SIU Medicine. Forward for you.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. Ellie De La Cruz drove in automatic runner Matt McLean with a sacrifice fly in the top of the 10th inning as the Cincinnati Reds snapped a 3-game skid with a 5-4 comeback win over the Chicago White Sox on Tuesday night.
The White Sox started the series opener against the Reds on Tuesday night in fantastic fashion as Brenton Doyle launched his first home run in a Sox uniform to lead off the game.
Nick Lodolo delivers. There's a swing and a smash in the air, deep left center field, and it's gone! First home run with the White Sox. His 6th career blast against the Reds.
Sean Burke deserved a win, pitching 7 strong, punching out 8s, and only allowing a solo shot. But some tough luck off the Sox pen in the 8th allowed the Reds to tie it up and eventually best the Sox in extras, 5-4 final in 10. I'm Jeff Meller, and I'll have your pregame coverage starting at 6 o'clock on the ESPN Chicago Hard Rock Casino White Sox Network.
Here the Sox' second matchup with the Reds tonight on WHOW. Pregame starts at 6 p.m. Pete Crow Armstrong, Alex Bregman, and Seiya Suzuki homered, and the Chicago Cubs rallied from an early deficit to beat the Washington Nationals 8-6 on Tuesday night. Crow Armstrong's third-inning shot, his 27th, hit the facade of the third deck in right field, traveling 437 feet. Bregman hit his 13th homer and finished 2 for 4 with 3 runs scored. Suzuki hit his 20th in the 8th inning to make it 8-4. The Cubs are 70-50 overall and improved to a season-best 20 games over 500. They were 34-34 on June 10th, but have gone 36-16 since, and they have a commanding lead in the NL wildcard race. All-star C.J. Abrams hit a 2-run homer in the first inning for Washington, his 29th, and Jacob Young went deep in the second, his 10th, to give the Nationals a 3-1 lead. Dylan Cruz also hit his 10th homer for Washington. The Cubs scored in 5 consecutive innings, highlighted by a 3-run fourth. Carson Kelly's RBI grounder off Jake Irvin, who is 2-6, put Chicago ahead 4-3. Shoto Imanaga allowed 3 homers for the 4th time this season and could not get out of the 5th, departing with 2 outs and a 6-4 lead. Ryan Rollison is 7-1 and recorded the next 4 outs. After the Nationals got within 8-6 in the 8th with 2 runs against Ryan Zefferjon, Jacob Webb got the last 4 outs for his 8th save. Abrams increased his major league leading RBI total to 91, matching Ian Desmond in 2014 for the most in a season by a national shortstop. The NL Player of the Month for July, Abrams has 11 homers and 31 RBIs in his last 31 games. Left-hander David Peterson is 6-7 with a 5.35 ERA and starts Wednesday for the Cubs, while the Nationals are expected to promote top lefty prospect Jackson Kent from AAA. Andre Palante gave up 4 hits over 6 innings, and Everson Pereira homered to help the St. Louis Cardinals beat the Philadelphia Phillies 2-0 on Tuesday night. Pereira hit his 5th homer of the season and first since being claimed off waivers by the Cardinals from the Chicago White Sox on Thursday in the 8th to give St. Louis a 2-0 lead. Pereira, who started in center field, made a leaping catch of a line drive at the center field wall in the top of the 5th inning to rob Alec Boehm of an extra base hit. George Soriano is 6-3 and pitched a scoreless inning of relief of Palante, who allowed 3 walks and struck out 2. Riley O'Brien pitched a scoreless 9th for his 30th save. Ryan Stanek got Luis Reyes to ground into a 3-2-3 double play and retired a JT Realmuto on a flyout to deep center field after Caleb Ferguson walked Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, and Bryce Harper to load the bases with no outs in the 8th inning. Christopher Sanchez allowed 4 hits and struck out 7 in 6 scoreless innings, but he did not earn a decision, snapping a 5-game streak of wins. Wynn lined a 2-out single to right field in the 7th off Alex McFarland, who is 0-1, and was recalled from AAA Lehigh Valley prior to the game to drive in Jordan Walker. Walker went over 2 with a 7th-inning walk to snap a 10-game hitting streak, which was his major league best 4th of at least 10 games this season. Phillies right-hander Zach Wheeler is 10-3 with a 2.69 ERA and is scheduled to face Cardinals righty Kyle Leahy, who is 8-4 with a 3.45 ERA in Wednesday's series finale. In scores from around the MLB yesterday, the Detroit Tigers beat the Cleveland Guardians 6-4, while the Miami Marlins shut out the Pittsburgh Pirates 2-0. The New York Yankees beat the Seattle Mariners 4-1. The Toronto Blue Jays took down the Boston Red Sox 5-3, while the Atlanta Braves blanked the New York Mets 4-0. The Baltimore Orioles beat the Minnesota Twins 5-2, while the Los Angeles Angels beat the Texas Rangers 3-2. By the same 3-2 score, the Colorado Rockies beat the Arizona Diamondbacks, while the San Diego Padres routed the Milwaukee Brewers 11-2. The Tampa Bay Rays beat the Athletics 12-4, while the San Francisco Giants took down the Houston Astros 4-1, and the Los Angeles Dodgers beat the Kansas City Royals 5-4 in 10 innings. Chicago Bears safety Coby Bryant will miss 4 to 6 months after he had surgery on his injured left knee, Coach Ben Johnson said Tuesday. Bryant signed a $40 million 3-year deal as a free agent this offseason and was expected to be an important part of a revamped Chicago secondary. Johnson said Bryant had surgery Friday without disclosing details of the injury. He did not rule out the possibility that Bryant would return this season. Chicago let all-pro safety Kevin Byard leave for Buffalo in free agency and signed Bryant, who spent 4 years with the Seattle Seahawks. He was also the starting free safety for last year's Super Bowl winning squad. Former Dallas and Tennessee safety Xavier Woods was signed last week and immediately went in as a replacement for Bryant. He intercepted quarterback Caleb Williams in his first full practice. The news about Bryant comes as the Bears deal with several less serious injuries. Chicago is preparing to host Cleveland on Saturday in its first preseason game. Wide receiver Luther Burden suffered a groin injury last week, and Johnson said he'll miss the rest of training camp and the preseason, but will return for the start of the regular season. Johnson also updated the injury status of starting left tackle Ozzie Trapillo, who suffered a patellar tendon injury last January in a playoff victory over Green Bay. Trapillo is progressing well, and Johnson wouldn't rule out his return to practice by the end of preseason. The Bears have been practicing without defensive end Montez Sweat, left tackle Braxton Jones, backup safety and cornerback Cam Lewis, and backup safety Elijah Hicks. All of those injuries, except for Hicks, are considered day-to-day. Starting slot cornerback Kyler Gordon remains on the physically unable to perform list after a calf injury before training camp. The Bears turned to rookie fourth-round pick Malik Muhammad in the slot last week, and he continues to work with the starters in that role. Get highlights of your local high school program by finding IL SportsWire on your preferred social media platforms, and get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace now offers free assembly and free delivery, so it's never been easier to get a great grill for your family, like a Weber gas grill, a Traeger wood pellet grill, or a Big Green Egg charcoal grill. Only at your neighborhood Ace. Around the block. What you need in stock. With people who know their grills.
This is Brad from Gibson Ace Hardware in Clinton, Illinois. Stop in to see us, the helpful place at 114 North Madison Street, Clinton.
See participating store for details.
Get WHOW programming live or on demand right there on your desktop, tablet, iPhone, or smartphone when you want it 24 hours a day. Just go to DeWittDailyNews.com. If you want to listen to live WHOW programming, just click the Listen Live icon. And if you want to hear one of your favorite WHOW programs when you want to, just click on the Audio on Demand icon. WHOW programming is there when you want it. Just another service from the big 1520 AM and 92.3 FM WHOW.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. In the Wisconsin Democratic primary for governor, establishment-backed candidate, Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley, managed a razor-thin victory over his Democratic Socialist challenger, Francesca Hong. Hong had led in most, if not all, of the polls. Also in Minnesota, Democratic Progressive Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan won the Senate primary, will face off against Republican Michelle Tafoya in November. Lisa DeMuth won the GOP gubernatorial primary for governor in Minnesota, beating Mike Lindell, endorsed by President Trump. And Darlene Graham has advanced to a Republican Senate primary runoff in South Carolina. Watching Wall Street this morning, stock futures pointing to a higher open. The NASDAQ futures are up more than 200 points. More details, SRNnews.com.
Are you carrying more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Do you feel like you're running on a financial treadmill, making payment after payment, month after month, yet never getting ahead? If you're tired of watching your hard-earned money disappear into interest charges, there may be options available to help you take back control of your finances. At Total Financial Freedom, they'll show you what qualified consumers may be able to save through programs designed to help them resolve debt faster than making minimum payments alone. The consultation is free, confidential, and comes with absolutely no obligation. Why spend years, sometimes decades, paying thousands in interest when there may be a better path forward? Total Financial Freedom is a Christian-owned company that has helped thousands of Americans pursue financial freedom for nearly 20 years and is proudly A+ rated and accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now and ask how you can receive a complimentary copy of The Debt Dietitian. Stop running in place. Start moving toward financial freedom at 866-844-7344. 866-844-7344.
From the Hart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local news update. A local faith-based nonprofit is finishing up its summer intern program. Mandy Reese with the Neighborhood Care Center explains that they brought on Zach Potts as their summer intern because of his interest in ministry and his passion for mission work. The idea was to give him hands-on experience in the day-to-day of making an impact on people's lives.
We invited Zach in because we knew he was interested in learning more about what it looked like to live on mission. And so we thought, why not invite him in to see what Neighborhood Care Center is all about and kind of let him get a behind the scenes look at how a nonprofit organization works week to week.
Okay.
And so that's really what we've done, is just kind of invited him into spaces. He's had some hands-on experience, but he's also been a part of a lot of meetings and things that maybe people normally wouldn't get to do, just to kind of see what it looks like.
Potts describes his experience with NCC as eye-opening to the everyday struggles of people in Clinton and Central Illinois. While some may see the organization as just a food bank, he says it is so much more.
It's been amazing. It's been very eye-opening to see like the community in, I guess, its real way. Like I had no idea like homeless people lived in Clinton, but just through various discussions I've had with Cody and the neighbors from Neighborhood Care Center, it's just really eye-opening to see what people's lives are actually like and what their experiences are, I guess. Through Dalton Weaver, the youth pastor at FCC in Clinton, he knows Cody pretty well, and he thought this would be a good opportunity for me this summer. I just thought they were pretty much a food bank that was faith-based, but I had no idea that it was this much and that they were still expanding into Vermilion County and McLean County even. Yeah, I would say, kind of go back to what I said earlier, eye-opening. They provide economic support with people, and it's in a closed room, and people tend to open up very much in there. So I would say that just seeing people's experiences and them telling you stories, it's just very moving, I guess.
The generosity of people is something that has stuck out to Potts through this experience. He indicates that it is that generosity that allows NCC to function daily and serve the community. Reese says it is about always ministering however you can. Learn more about the Neighborhood Care Center in Clinton, McLean County, and soon Danville, its efforts, and how you can help by visiting neighborhoodcarecenter.net or by finding them on Facebook. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Spring just has a way of putting a little more energy into everything. Brighter days, warmer air, and more reasons to get out and enjoy it. Your home should keep up with that. At Hickory Point Garden Homes, you'll have your own one-story duplex with bright open spaces, a private patio, and neighborhood walking paths just outside your door for that perfect stroll in the spring sunshine. You can spend less time managing your home and more time enjoying the warm spring days ahead. See what that feels like at Hickory Point Garden Homes in Forsyth, Illinois, and step into comfortable living for 55 and better.
This is Seth Lawrence, station manager for the Heart Media Group here in Clinton. We take pride in being Clinton and Central Illinois' local radio stations each and every day, 7 days a week. What does local news mean? Here's a sample.
Well, we do appreciate the contacts that were made. And, we do take those seriously.
But yeah, all the chemicals are getting adjusted. One of the big things that we're running into is just staffing with the lifeguard.
What that'll do is that we will come flag your yard for the week before 4th of July, and then we'll come recollect them so you don't have to do anything.
We had a kiddo here that had a replica $100 bill, and I know it's replica without even touching it.
You hear the local people that make the news every day, 7 days a week. Follow WHOW on Facebook and Instagram to see the faces behind the voices and stay connected to your local community on WHOW and WEZC.
John Deere is putting in work and putting up highlights.
Oh man, look at those passes. Tillage, planting, harvesting.
3 years in, and these pre-owned machines are still at the top of their game. We're talking reliability, performance, and long-term potential.
And get this, these veteran machines can pick up the latest precision tech with ease.
You know it, and fans ready to add John Deere certified pre-owned equipment and more options to their lineup can shop at machinefinder.com.
Booyah!
You're listening to a best of segment of the WHOW Morning Show, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, this is a best of the WHOW Morning Show.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio this morning is Tony Harris, City Administrator for the City of Clinton, as we follow up the Tuesday night Clinton City Council meeting. Good morning, Tony. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Seth. How are you doing this morning?
Doing good. Doing good. We've got some rain rolling in, it looks like. Yeah.
Still needed.
It is.
Yep.
It is. I was kind of hoping the last round of rain would hold off and my grass wouldn't green up, but it's gotten a little green again. So
it's gonna be time to mow it.
It is. It already is. Yep, for sure. For sure. Hey, let's recap the Tuesday night meeting, Tony, and just kind of go down the line in order. One of the first items of business was a proposal that you put out there into the ethosphere about raising compensation for city council members. Tell me about this a little bit.
Well, that's something that's not been done well. They set the compensation salary back in 1995, so 30 years ago, and I thought it was time to take a look at that. So what I brought forth last night.
Can I have you bring the mic down so we can hear you?
Oh,
there
sure.
you go. Yep, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to be right in front of it or we can't hear you.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I don't mean
Sorry
to do
about
that to you.
No
No, you're good.
No problem. So I brought that up last night to council. It basically went on file last night. They'll have the city attorney have all the resolution or ordinance in place on Tuesday. But what I brought up was just to increase it. Right now, the commissioners are making $6,000 annually. The mayor's making $6,600 annually. So what I brought up is to double that again, since it's not been, we've not looked at that in 30 years. It's time. So it remains tied to 1995 economics, and I thought it was time. So so that'll increase if it passes. Commissioner's salary will increase $12,000 annually, increase to $12,000 annually, and the mayor would be $13,200 annually. Again, it's a different day and age that we live in. I think it's just time that we look at that. The commissioners, the mayor, they put a lot of work into this, and it's time to definitely take a look at those salaries.
And you had mentioned this would actually not be something effective until the new council is sworn in. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So I think it's good to be transparent about it. And anybody that's considering pulling a petition and running for one of the positions for next year's election, I think this is a good time to do it. And all the seats are going to be up for re-election next year, so I think this is just a good time to do that and bring it up.
Sure, very good. So with that said, probably folks wondering, can the city afford this kind of an increase?
We can. I had that discussion with Clint, the treasurer, and we talked about it for a couple of months before I even brought it up. And yes, we can afford it. We'll put it in next year's budget if it passes for next fiscal year, starting May 1st, 2027. And so yes, the discussion was had with him.
Okay, all right, very good. So when does that become like the form of a motion that this council would vote on, or does that just go into effect? How does that work?
They've got to vote on it. It'll go on file this coming Tuesday. That's when Attorney Hoblet said he would have have it on file, and then they'll vote on it the next meeting, which I think is what
the 18th. It looks like.
So
yeah,
they'll vote on it then. It's got to pass council.
I'm really disappointed we didn't recognize Coast Guard Day yesterday.
Coast Guard Day.
Yeah, that's too bad. We should have made a special point to get to that.
That's
oh well,
correct. That's correct.
I guess we'll note for next year. No for next year. All right. So looking at doubling basically city council or city commissioner salaries.
Yep.
So all right. So that'll be voted on. It sounds like in August and go into effect next year. Very good.
Yep.
All right, Tony. Let's get to some other items of business. I know for a lot of folks, they've been impacted by some water main issues on Alexander Street the last month or so here. What's going on?
Well, Commissioner Wise brought this up last night. He also brought it up at the meeting prior to that. It's a real issue. If you travel down South Alexander between Jefferson and Main Street, it's like a maze trying to get through that one lane of traffic. So we are aware of that. Commissioner Wise has been working with some of the city employees to try to get that taken care of. We are going to invest some money into that and get those lines taken care of. Last I heard, they're working with the contractor to do some of the work. And I think they're going to try to keep it off the street, where if something happens to it, it's more, and they need to dig it up, then it's more on the city terrace, the grassy area. That's the plan right now. But again, they're kind of in the early stages of it, trying to get it worked out. But it is something that they are going to do this year.
Sure.
It's in such bad shape.
Yeah. It feels like we have consistent water main issues, all over the city. There's pockets more so than others. Is this something that is a greater issue we need to address or start to investigate and look at?
It is. All those water lines are, underground, are very, very old. And at some point, we're going to have to take a look at replacing all of them throughout the entire city. Well, that's a huge undertaking.
Millions and millions. Oh my gosh.
Huge
Yeah.
cost. I was in a meeting here a couple of weeks ago where that was brought up, that we're going to have to start looking at that. And, we're just going to have to take small sections at a time, like this, this 2-block area that we're talking about now on South Alexander Street. We'll identify the worst areas. That's the worst area right now, and we'll just start replacing them.
Yeah.
It might be, at some point we might start looking at some grant funding to help fund some of that. But yes, I mean, it's old equipment underground. Those water lines they've been under there for a very long time, and it's time to start looking at those.
Sure. When it comes to there's just so much that needs to be done. I mean, City Hall is old, fire station is small, police station is old, water mains. I mean, all the, water tower, all these things in town. I don't know. Have you at all gone back, Tony, and just was this just things we didn't address over the years, or I don't know? What do you what do you chalk all this up to?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's not been addressed over the years. I mean, I've been in this position for a year and a half, and this is my first time in a role like this, and I didn't know what to expect. And there's lots of projects going on. It's not necessarily because it's not been addressed. It's just we're trying to prioritize what's a priority at this point, and that area on South Alexander and the water mains, that's a priority. So yes, like I mentioned, all that equipment, those pipes underground are very, very old. It is a priority now, and maybe several years ago it wasn't so much of a priority, but it is now. And we have, like you mentioned, we have lots of projects going on right now. Lots of projects.
Yeah.
And I last month I sat down and made a list of all the projects that I've got involvement in, and there was quite a few of them. And I told myself, I think it's best if we just take small projects, a couple, 3 at a time, get those taken care of, and then move on to the next. I realized because I hit the ground running my very first day here, and I found some projects that I knew needed to be taken care of, and I took on like 7 or 8 projects, and that was just too many at one time. So, I sat back last month and just counted up some of those, looked at some of the projects that I know that we have coming up, and I'm going to try to better prioritize what needs to be done rather than taking on so many of them.
Are you at liberty to share some of those things? I mean, what are some an example or two of small things that need to be done that we can take care of now? And I don't think that should necessarily mean we put the big things on the back burner, if that makes any sense.
Well, like road repair, street work, there's some of that stuff those things need to be taken care of too. And, working with, talking to Steve Lobb, he takes care of a lot of that. But, when I take complaints about repairs that need to be made in front of, on a certain street, I prioritize those, send those to Steve, and my involvement in some of those things are minimal because Steve just takes care of those things.
Sure.
But, he's looking now. They're doing some oil and chip projects right now. He's looking at, he's the one that scheduled all of that. He's also looking at, trying to prioritize other streets that might need repair with, pothole repairs, those type of things. So that's one project that he's working on. And, some of my projects are more economic development, like I talked about, with the west side of town. Some of those projects are, I think that there's one project that we keep mentioning, that fourplex unit over on Sunrise Court. We keep talking about that. That's been in the works for over a year now, and it was finally approved by the Planning Commission. We're waiting for a shovel on the ground for that project. That's one project that's been mine. I get this, I think, well, that's just going to take a couple of months. They're going to be out there working. It's been kind of slow, and I've had to learn that too with city government. The wheels move very, very slow.
Yeah. Wheels of government move slow, I think is the saying.
They do. And, that the mayor and I, we've talked about the new city hall, fire department, police department. We wanted an announcement of a location back in June, but again, we're taking this very careful. We're working with landowners. So it's just all these projects. When I talked about 7 or 8 projects at once, all 7 or 8 of them are moving very, very slow. So that's the reason I thought, we would just do a few of them at a time and try to get those done, quicker than the 7 and 8 all at once.
Yeah, fair.
If that makes sense.
Fair enough. While I venture a guess, also keeping your eye on the ball on things like we mentioned, City Hall, fire station, police station, water tower, soon to be, all these water mains that are going to need upgraded. Probably balancing small things while you try to manage the big stuff, right?
Like all those projects you mentioned, yes, we're involved in all those, but also trying to keep activities going in the city, like the concerts on the square. You might think that, when it's frustrating. We had to cancel one due to rain. Last Friday? Had to cancel that. Friday before, maybe it was. Had to cancel that. So I'm trying to rebook that one. So it's little things like that. Some of these big projects that we're working on, and then the concerts on the square, trying to keep those things going. It's just a lot of work, and but we just keep going forward. Lots of good things happening within the city of Clinton, and we're very excited about the future and to see what's going to happen.
Very good. Well, on that note, Tony, let's break, come back with some more. Tony Harris, Clinton City Administrator, is my guest in studio here for this morning. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Beacon Insurance agent in Clinton. More to come with Tony on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW. Let's check the opening numbers now at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Wednesday. I'm Jim Taylor on the RFD Radio Network. We start the day in the green with corn, beans, and Chicago wheat. Chicago wheat actually double-digit higher. September corn opening 440, up 3 1/4. December corn up 3 1/4, 463 3/4. March corn 479, up 3. September beans opening 1153 1/2, up 2. November beans up to 1170 3/4. January beans also up to 1186 1/4. September Chicago wheat 646 1/2, up 16 1/4. September KC wheat is up 22 1/2, 721 3/4. September bean meal 306 even, up $1. September bean oil 68.20, down 37 cents. Energy market October Brent crude oil down 49 cents, 88.42. Jim Taylor on the RFD Radio Network.
Baum Chevrolet Buick offers full transportation options while giving you peace of mind. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. This is what we do every day. We listen to you, give you options for routine maintenance, major mechanical problems, or collision repairs with a staff that's knowledgeable to find the best option for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick, your full-service dealer. See us at baumchevybuick.com right from the start.
Here's Matt Hart, owner of the Hart Media Group in Clinton.
It's been great. You and Ben and the entire team are doing a great job. And we're just continuing on serving the local community, right? This is what this is all about. We're here to serve our local community. We're here to tell the local stories. We're here to cover the news. So nothing in that regard is changing. Our goal is connecting people. And that's our tagline at Hart Media Group. It's connecting people.
Hart purchased the Miller Media Group in August of 2025 and looks forward to serving the community for years to come.
WEZC, your easy choice, 95.9 FM, is the voice of the Monticello Sages. Also streamed and archived at DeWittDailyNews.com. Hear live play-by-play football, boys and girls basketball, baseball and softball, all season long. And a best of broadcast every Saturday at noon. All brought to you by Kirby Medical Center, First Mid, and Stewart Family Hardware, all in Monticello.
You're listening to a best of segment of the WHOW Morning Show, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Beacon Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, this is a best of the WHOW Morning Show.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, Tony Harris, City Administrator for the City of Clinton, our guest in studio today as we follow up the Tuesday night Clinton City Council meeting. Tony, the mayor had an update on Block by Block, and not only is that program rolling, it kind of gets off the ground this weekend, it sounds like. What's going on?
It does. I think she mentioned last night at the meeting that she's had 3 sign up. They are working on one. I'm not sure which one, but they're working on one on Saturday to help. So yeah, that's a good program. That's the mayor. That's dear to her. She's the one that brought that up, and it's kind of amazing how the whole thing played out with her idea with that, and my idea with the TIF 4 or all the TIF residential home improvement, exterior home improvement grants. Those two kind of work hand in hand, and that's exciting just to see what could happen with the city of Clinton. And I brought that up when I interviewed with Ben a couple of weeks ago. This TIF 4, which is this is kind of a pilot program to see how this works. The TIF 4 is mainly up on the square, and then south of the square on South Center and South Monroe Street. And we're going to try this residential program. It's going to pay up to $5,000. It's a 75% grant for home improvement, like siding, windows, maybe some driveway work, things like that. This basically things to make the exterior look better. And so that's in the works right now.
Now, how does a residential TIF work?
It's the same as a regular TIF where we help businesses. It's just on a residential side. We came up with that idea. Clint and I worked. Clint, the treasurer, we worked very close together last year on this project. We attended that TIF conference last year at the IML conference, and that's where we got the idea. And we worked very hard on that, and now it looks like it's coming. The plan is to put it in place with this TIF 4, which, like I mentioned, just on South Center Street and South Monroe Street down to Van Buren Street. So it's limited number of homes there where we can help. But what the plan is, this new TIF 5 that I've been talking about just about every time I'm here, the plan is to put that same program in that new TIF 5 boundary, which will encompass a good part of Clinton. And there will be lots of residential homes in that part too. I've been having lots of phone calls on this, and people can continue to reach out to me and ask questions, about what we can do in the area. Had lots of phone calls. Unfortunately, not every home in the city of Clinton will be in either one of those TIF districts, but at some point, that's our goal, is to help every single home at some point. Now, this is going to take several years to do, but if you can just imagine, a TIF district at some point encompassing the entire city of Clinton, where we can help through this grant program every single home in Clinton. It's not just income based. It's the location based. What needs to be done to the home? How can we help to make that home look better? And again, it's not coming out of the city general fund. It's coming out of this TIF fund.
Yeah,
it's paid for through TIF funds through taxes. We take a portion of the taxes and put it in a fund, and that's how it's funded.
Yeah. So how do you decide how much goes into this fund? And again, because you want to encompass all, or if not most of the homes in Clinton proper, how do you capture those dollars and decide how much you should put into this?
Well, that's where we, when we hired this TIF consultant, she's helping us with that. We go to her with ideas like this idea. We went to her. This is what we want to see. Help us come up with a plan. So, we bounce ideas off of her. She captures the growth. And again, this is all about the growth of the financial growth of the city. Like when this TIF district, when a TIF district like this new TIF 5 is put in place, it freezes the taxes for the taxing bodies. So in other words, the city of Clinton or the school district, when the day that this new TIF 5 goes into place, it freezes those taxes to the taxing bodies. They continue to get what, when it's froze, they'll get that amount until the end of the TIF. every year it increases. The homeowner's paying a little bit more because all taxes pretty much increase. They pay a little bit, a small increase, and that entire TIF district, that increase goes into a fund, and that's what pays for it. So then we have to do the math along with our consultant. Like, okay, so this is the TIF area. We've got some blighted areas. We know we want to help this area. So what kind of funds will we need to do that? So we have to look and see what kind of growth. Like if we get this home fixed up, that's going to, make a little bit more financial growth in that fund. So now the next house, that's going to even increase a little more. So little small increases
kind of snowballs a little bit. Yeah.
It brings more money into that fund, which helps fund this grant program.
Sure.
It's a good program. It works. We're in the very, very early stages of it, and we want people to take advantage of it.
Very good. Well, on that note, Tony, I got about a minute and a half with you here yet still this morning. What's coming up next month that we are taking up from the city council side, or not next month, next meeting on the 18th? Anything coming up you want to talk about?
Yeah, there's a few things coming up. Well, I do want to mention before I forget and run out of time, August the 14th, which is next Friday, is another band that we will be bringing on. Ghost Shank.
Say that again.
Ghost Shank.
Okay.
I think I'm saying that right, but it starts at 7:00. It's a local band. It's a high school group that just graduated high school, and they will be playing. It's I'll put more information out there. People can go to the City of Clinton Facebook a page to check that out. That's next Friday. I'm still trying to reschedule the rain. We got rained out the Boogie Republic. I'm trying to reschedule that. So I'll put something out on Facebook as soon as that is rescheduled. Okay. I should know something either later today or tomorrow.
Okay. All right. So
still working on some of those. Our venue on the square outside, the weather, those play hand in hand. So we got rained out, so we got to find another.
I mean, for having what 3, 4, 5 concerts on the square now this summer, and only one rained out. That's pretty good success, I would say.
We had 2 rained out. Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind.
We couldn't reschedule
the other. Gotcha. Oh, that's right. Sure. Very good. Well, on that note, Tony, I got to let you go, my friend. Always good to catch up with you. Tony Harris, Clinton City Administrator, my guest in studio. Network News comes your way now. Get the latest in local news, obits, police blotter, and local sports at DeWittDailyNews.com.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton, along with 92.3 FM Clinton and 106.5 FM Bloomington Normal.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. The government's latest gauge of inflation is just in. Consumer prices rose 3.4% last month from a year ago. It was down slightly from a 3.5% price rise in June. Month over month, prices up just 0.1% from June to July. There's lots of damage, lots of cleanup ahead after powerful storms raked an area stretching from Chicago to eastern Ohio and leaving at least one person dead.
Ohio's Governor Mike DeWine warned residents about the severe weather sweeping eastward.
We are in a very dangerous weather situation that really involves all of Ohio. Flooding danger is going to continue to go up for a while.
Near Chicago, tornado sirens sounded and flights were temporarily suspended Tuesday at the city's 2 major airports. More than 780,000 customers in Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio lost power. Footage shows damaged roofs, flooded roads, and trees tangled in power lines. Audio courtesy WSYX WTTE. I'm Jennifer King.
The late Senator Lindsey Graham's sister has advanced to a runoff in the South Carolina Republican Senate primary.
South Carolina Senator conservative Darlene Graham getting the most votes in the Republican primary race, but not enough votes to win. So she will now face Congressman Ralph Norman in the August 25th runoff. Governor McMaster had appointed Darlene to serve the rest of Lindsey Graham's term after he passed away.
Correspondent Laura Winters. Democratic Socialist Francesca Hong has lost her bid for the Democratic nomination for governor in Wisconsin. David Crowley, endorsed by the party establishment, won by less than 1%. Was something of a surprise since multiple polls had given Hong a clear advantage. On Wall Street, ahead of this morning's opening bell, the Dow futures are up more than 100 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Kirk Cameron. Christian Healthcare Ministries is not another health insurance policy. If you're tired of year-long contracts and pointless restrictions, CHM offers anytime enrollment on your schedule and at your convenience. With CHM, you're paying half the cost of a traditional health insurance plan. So that puts more money back into your budget for everyday needs. Plus, you'll have access to CHM's care solutions for virtual appointments, prescription savings, surgery support, and more. My family and I joined in 2018, and it's changed our lives for the better. We love paying way less while helping other believers afford their medical bills. Take the leap of faith and see why Christians